And here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Microsoft Surface Pro 8. Now the model I'm about to share with all of you here on launch day, October 5th, 2021, is the Intel 11th Gen Core i7 paired with 16 gigs of RAM and a half terabyte SSD. It retails for roughly $1,900 US. I will include a link in the description. After all, today is launch day and you can purchase and have this in hand today if you so choose. Now, the 8th generation of the Surface Pro is an exciting one because not only do we have a larger display, now 13 inches, the second time in the Surface Pro's history to get a size bump up. The original one was 10.1 inches, then we went to over 12, and now we're at 13. But we also have a 120 hertz refresh rate on the panel. In addition to that, Thunderbolt 4 ports. We also have a user upgradable SSD, although that might be the most underwhelming of the improvements. We also have a 1080p webcam, so video conferencing here in the era of COVID-19 should be punched up a level to say at the very least, and a more modern design. Still under 2 pounds, a revised type cover and pen. I'll get to that in another video. But let's go ahead and take a look at this. Again, this is the Core i7 with 16 gigs of RAM and a half terabyte NVMe, and it's exciting. I mean, this, realistically speaking, is probably the best bang for your buck if you're looking for an i7 build. I still think pricing is somewhat insane. Remember that the Surface Pro 8 starts at $1,100 US and shoots all the way up to $2,600 if you're willing to go there. And I think I've opened everything up. Let's take a look at what this redesign looks like. And it does borrow a lot from the Surface Pro X of 2019. You can see right here along the packaging, power button, Thunderbolt logos for the 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports. They still have retained their proprietary charging port. They did not abandon that. The dual microphone array, Windows Hello functionality with the, again, 1080p webcam there, your volume rocker, and headphone jack. So let's go ahead and get the wrapping off of this. And from what I understand, charging time is somewhere around an hour and a half, but we'll see. And it makes a huge difference to have Thunderbolt connectivity. I mean, that was one of the things I felt was always holding back the Surface Pro lineup, is that you have this amazing piece of hardware, but then we don't have the Thunderbolt connectivity, and now we do. And that, I have to say, I'm more excited about that than even the 13-inch 120 hertz panel, because that changes the way you can use the device. I'm not saying the display doesn't as well. I wish we would have seen a bump up to an OLED panel, maybe next gen. But again, the 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, the Microsoft charge port, we have the power button right there, nothing along the top, completely clean. Really one of the best designs on the market. Volume rocker right here, and then your dual mic and headphone jack. Nothing else on this body except the connection ports for the keyboard, which I will be sharing in another video, an unboxing of that. And then of course Microsoft's Hinge, the best in the business, that allows you to use this pretty much in any orientation you could possibly desire. Now, as I mentioned, you can upgrade the hard drive, and you can see the pinhole right there. Pop it open, and you know, do I think this is a good thing? Yes, it's a trend that I think is important for Microsoft to follow. Do I think this is the reason you should buy the brand new Surface Pro? Absolutely not. Unfortunately, no more expandable storage, so no micro SD card slot. That's something that is gone that I wish would be retained, but you can't have it all. And with the camera here on the back, we can shoot 4K video as well as high megapixel stills. So, you know, how much you're going to use it for that is another story. I think the real improvement, again, is over here where we now have a full 1080p camera for video conferencing and that dual mic array. So let me go ahead and power this up. Of course, it does come with Windows 11 pre-installed. I think that's also a big deal for many of you out there that have been waiting for the launch device based around Windows 11. Let's go ahead and take a look at the power brick while this powers up. And it's going to be, you know, Microsoft's traditional charger. but you can charge this up using a 65 watt Type-C charger. So that's the beauty. So while you can use, again, the proprietary special that Microsoft has employed for years, if you want to go with a typical Type-C charger, you should be able to get a trickle out of that at the very least. And really, there's nothing else in the box. Some paperwork here, and that is it. But I'm going to go ahead and get this thing set up. We're going to see what the overall performance is like. Again, with the i7 that I have here for review, I'm expecting good things. After all, it is a chip I'm familiar with Intel's 11th gen 1185 G7, as well as the XE graphics, which means you will be able to game on this as well. I can already tell you the display looks really nice, but we'll see how much that 120 hertz ends up affecting overall performance. And we're going to see what the new pen, how that performs, the Slim Pen 2. But, you know, from a design perspective, the speakers just sounded good. I think that there is no question this is the best looking, and I have no question it will be the best performing Surface Pro ever made. Now, whether or not battery life is going to actually be the 16 hours that Microsoft has been quoting here, I'm not anticipating that. And for those of you that also want to know about the Core i5 version, I will be covering that in a separate video as well, because I think it's important to have your options. And the Core i5 with 16 gigs of RAM is the other way I would go if you don't want to spend the money, obviously, which is a very big asking price at, again, $1,900. I mean, you can get an incredibly powerful PC for that in desktop or laptop form. So you absolutely are paying every cent, as usual, for the form factor that the Surface Pro represents. But that pretty much covers the unboxing. Again, really like what Microsoft has done here. It gets me excited about the Surface Pro lineup once again, which really has always been a favorite of mine, and this is something that they really frankly should have done a couple years ago. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them, hit that like button, and as usual, please feel free to subscribe, and please stay safe. Later.